Feng Shi elegantly passed the challenge at the black market tournament. Obtained the super rare AoE skill Storm Flash. Next, he is ready to start crazily grinding monsters for level up. After leaving Maple Leaf Town, he found many players shouting and inviting others to team up around him. He sighed quietly as he looked at the only 30 copper left in his backpack. Not long ago, he found Master Alchemist Calvin and bought 20 burst berries in one go, which immediately caused a significant reduction in his fortune. Currently, all players are at level 0. They are all killing level 0 monsters outside Maple Leaf Town. However, there are also some skilled players teaming up to kill level 1 young wolves. The warrior is responsible for drawing aggro. The ranged damage dealers provide healing. The battle is conducted in an orderly manner. Although the experience is divided among several people, the efficiency is very high. There are fewer people fighting over monsters. If a player dies, the death penalty is severe. Not only will they lose 1 level of experience, but they will also lose skill proficiency. No players dare to take risks easily, otherwise the experience and proficiency gained through several hours of hard work will be wasted. Passing by, Feng Shi faced the bald man driving away. Suddenly, he felt a black face. He sneered at this. Just because he didn't plan to grind these low-level monsters. Maple Leaf Forest is composed of beautiful maple tree forests. It is full of level 5 small monsters wandering around. For players below level 3, it is an absolute forbidden area. Feng Shi, however, ran into Maple Leaf Forest without any hesitation. The simple and cute young bear rolls around on the grass. It looks adorable, but is actually fierce. Although it is also a level 5 monster, melee fighters dislike bear-type small monsters more. This is because they have thick blood and high defense, making them more tiring to fight. Feng Shi just circled around the young bear using the trees, and saw a forest wolf drinking water not far away. Facing a level 5 forest wolf, Feng Shi is only at level 1. If he doesn't keep enough distance, the forest wolf's keen sense of smell will detect him. The level 5 forest wolf has 400 HP. It has a powerful attack. It can kill Feng Shi, who only has 120 HP, with just 2 bites. Dealing with a single lone wolf is still manageable. But what's most feared is when there is a wolf den nearby. Just then, the ground beneath his feet suddenly caved in. Caught off guard, he fell downward. I saw him suddenly flip in the air. He landed steadily on the ground. Beside him was a hidden cave. Suddenly, several pairs of crimson eyes appeared. Feng Shi noticed the movement behind him. He couldn't help but turn around in fear to look. He approached the vigilant range of the wolf's den. A group of forest wolves slowly emerged from within. Feng Shi's luck is very bad. 7 forest wolves suddenly rushed out. The forest wolves are very fast. However, Feng Shi's speed is not slow either. All attributes have been increased by agility move speed 6. Definitely lightning fast. After all, being a level 1 swordman, even with all attributes in agility, the speed is still a bit slower compared to the forest wolves. The forest wolf quickly caught up. He remained calm in the face of danger, and suddenly leaped up to evade the pounce. Feng Shi didn't care about that much either. Activate the life-saving skill Gravity Release directly. He suddenly felt as light as a feather. Speed immediately increased significantly. Quickly left the forest wolf far behind. Little monsters are after all just little monsters. Gave up the chase once reaching a certain range. Feng Shi also managed to save his life. More than 10 minutes later, Feng Shi arrived in front of a towering mountain range, with several large mountains reaching hundreds of meters high. They stood in the center of the Maple Leaf Forest, shrouded in mist and clouds at the mountaintops, resembling a fairyland on earth. Feng Shi looked at the towering mountains, glanced around, and discovered a small waterfall nearby. So he walked over to it. Central Mountain is a treasure mountain, and there is a secret silver treasure chest placed on the mountaintop. In the wild of the realm, many hidden places are equipped with treasure chests, waiting for players to venture out and discover them. In the past life, Because of this secret silver treasure chest, Shadow instantly became famous and established the renowned workshop, White River Castle, accumulating a considerable amount of wealth in the early stages. In reincarnation, Feng Shi returned to 10 years ago in order to earn enough money to purchase a gaming helmet. He chose to come to Central Mountain to explore, simply because there is a mithril chest stored on the mountain. He can rely on it to earn 16,000 credits within 10 days. Currently, low-level players have less than 40 agility points. They haven't unlocked the hidden basic skill of wall running. They cannot rock climb or mountain climb. And Central Mountain has no way up the mountain, so they can only climb up. Although Feng Shi doesn't have such a high agility, with the ring of gravity activated, he can still rock climb and mountain climb. He no longer wastes time. Use the gravity release skill immediately. After using the skill, Feng Shi finds rock climbing very easy. He climbed up to a height of 5 meters in just 2 to 3 moves. 5 seconds left until gravity release is lifted. Feng Shi found an open space to rest and wait for the cooldown of Ring of Gravity. Just then, Feng Shi hadn't had a chance to catch his breath yet. The rock wall suddenly started to shake violently. Suddenly, a rock giant's hand popped out. Feng Shi was not surprised but delighted. You came really quickly. The next moment, Rock Giant appeared complete in front of him. Rock Giant is a type of monster with high attack power, HP, and defense. However, it has a very slow reaction time, attack speed, and movement speed. With just 20 points of agility, you can easily outmaneuver it. Immediately after, Rock Giant erupted into a roar towards Feng Shi. Its information also appeared. Rock Giant is a level 5 common monster with 550 HP. Feng Shi, however, remained calm, just because he was well prepared long ago. He immediately took out the burst berry that he had bought at a high price from his backpack. The burst berry affects the area within 9 yards. It reduces move speed by 30% and turning speed by 70%. The effect lasts for 1 minute, making it a tool to deal with such clumsy creatures. Facing the heavy punches thrown by the rock giant, the Feng Shi, who has invested all points in agility, finds it not difficult to dodge them all. Immediately, he forcefully threw the burst berry at the feet of the rock giant. The next second, the burst berry emitted a strange glow. The move speed of the rock giant suddenly decreased. Feng Shi drew the new sword from the scabbard. Suddenly leaping out with a swift step, he rushed to the back of the rock giant. Then he held the sword in both hands. He suddenly swung the sword down towards the rock giant. The slashing skill directly landed on the rock giant. Skill proficiency immediately increased by 3 points. However, the damage caused to the rock giant by this sword strike is negligible. Due to level suppression, the effect of the slash is not very good. However, the rock giant is 4 levels higher. The skill proficiency increases additionally. Coupled with the swordman's talent, the proficiency of the slash increases by 3 points at once. This is definitely a good place to improve skill proficiency. Movement was sluggish. The rock giant immediately picked up its huge foot and stomped towards the ground. Feng Shi agilely leaped up, easily dodging it. Next, the rock giant quickly got up. Raised the sandbag-sized giant fist again. The terrifying giant fist swung violently towards Feng Shi's landing point. The whole ground was instantly blasted apart. But Feng Shi remained calm. Immediately turned around in midair, facing the rock giant. The new sword in his hand was suddenly swung out. In the moment Storm Flash was launched, 3 flashes of lightning burst out. All hits without exception. The injured rock giant immediately burst out with a roar, starting to counterattack. Soon after, a rumble echoed from the mountains, only to see the rock giant turning into scattered debris on the ground. The subsequent effects of Storm Flash are very powerful. Under the stormy attacks of Feng Shi, in less than a minute, the rock giant was resolved. Even though it had thick health and high attack power, if it couldn't hit Feng Shi, it would become a wooden man used to boost experience and skill proficiency. How strong is this man who was once a top war god? While other players are still teaming up to brush level 1 monsters, he relies on superb skills and understanding of the game. He treats a level 5 rock giant as a wooden man to fight. Just now, the Feng Shi, who easily took down the rock giant, began to loot treasures. Luck is not bad. Actually dropped in equipment. The drop rate in the realm is extremely low. Not to mention a level 4 normal item, someone will definitely buy it at a high price. Just at this moment, suddenly, above the sky, a dense group of bats emerged. Feng Shi quickly packed up the equipment. Looked towards where the bats are swarming out. Suddenly, I discovered a cave not far ahead. The rock giant lurking nearby is basically no threat to him. He then ventured alone deep into the cave to investigate. Go take a look. Feng Shi's heart suddenly accelerated. A massive rock giant is lying in the cave sleeping. Its entire body is not the usual dark gray rock, but a silver-white color. Zuro's elite level 6 HP 900. Same level elite monster. At least 6 people are needed in the team to defeat it. Feng Shi was not surprised but instead happy. He still has a large amount of burst berries. If they take down this big guy, they might get a lot of good items. He didn't hesitate and immediately rushed up. Used Storm Flash directly. One after another lightning flashes passed through Zuro's massive body. The sleeping rock giant Zuro's was suddenly hit. The damage caused by Feng Shi was negligible, but it startled Zuro's awake. Being woken up from a dream is irritating for anyone. Zuro's then roared angrily. "Insignificant human! I will crush you!" Immediately, it stood up abruptly and rushed towards Feng Shi. In a moment, Zuro's huge fist, fiercely smashing down towards Feng Shi's position. However, this slow attack. For Feng Shi, who has maxed out agility, dodging is still very easy. He immediately opens the backpack space in midair. Carrying Burst Berry makes him feel extremely confident. Although this big guy has a thick HP, but he relies on his speed advantage. You can slowly grind it down. Feng Shi will not give Zuro's any chance naturally. Immediately threw Burst Berry on its path. Speed has always been the weak point of the rock giant. Even elite monsters are no exception. However, Zuro's is larger in size. It has more attack methods. Its movement and attack speed are slightly faster. But after being slowed down by burst berries, it is as sluggish as a turtle. Feng Shi with 16 points in agility. Move speed and attack speed are very fast. Flank directly to the back of Zuro's. Launch a fierce attack. Just saw Feng Shi wildly swing a slash towards Zuro's. Having full agility also means the attack speed is quite fast. The bulky Zuro's immediately becomes a target. A series of injuries continue to appear on the head of Zuro's. Zuro's defense is indeed amazing. A normal attack only caused 3 points of damage. A slash is slightly better, causing 4 points of damage. After a series of attacks, Zuro's finally turned around. He raised his huge arm and ruthlessly slammed it towards Feng Shi. As a reincarnator, Feng Shi has experienced countless battles in the realm. Faced with the terrifying giant fist, he showed no panic. He swiftly distanced himself from it. After 5 seconds have passed, Zuro's HP has been restored by 18 points. Let Feng Shi's previous efforts go to waste in an instant. He suddenly felt a sharp increase in pressure. Monsters above elite level. Combat recovery is 2% every 5 seconds. Zuro's has 900 HP, so he regenerates 18 health every 5 seconds, which completely exceeds the damage he deals. However, Feng Shi has no intention of giving up. If it were an ordinary player, seeing such HP and recovery ability, they might have already given up. But Feng Shi can rely on it. Storm Flash's damage deepens. Slowly grinded down with the advantage of agility. The 3 swords of Storm Flash made Zuro's extremely angry. However, it was unable to capture the figure of Feng Shi. Then followed a fierce strike accompanied by several regular attacks. Under the intensified effect of damage, the damage immediately doubles. Feng Shi was thrilled all of a sudden. He saw a glimmer of hope for the kill. However, just at that moment, Zeros let out a roar. Stepping fiercely, a huge ball of energy suddenly appeared on its body. The cave was suddenly shaking violently. Immediately after, his mountain-like body leaped up suddenly. Then he roared angrily, "I'm going to squash you flat!" The next second, Zeros clenched his fists. His enormous body plummeted from the sky. The whole ground erupted into a violent roar the moment he landed. The entire area instantly split into 4 or 5 pieces. If a team comes over, you can't dodge at all in this confined space. Definitely going to be wiped out. Feng Shi sees the situation is not good. Immediately evacuate from around Zeros. If it weren't for his agile body, his relative spacious surroundings, it would be difficult to dodge this wave of attacks. After a moment, the smoke slowly dissipates. Zeros' massive figure slowly emerges. However, at this moment, Zeros has just activated his ultimate skill. Appeared fatigued. Fatigue status. It is a period of weakness after some small bosses launch their big skills. Not only does the attack power decrease, but the defense also drops significantly. Feng Shi's eyes lit up instantly, and he charged straight up. Having a state of fatigue allows him to deal a lot of damage. Fatigued Zeros. Attacking even slower than a snail. Feng Shi easily leaps, approaching its face quickly. Immediately after, Feng Shi raised the new sword in the air abruptly. When Zeros tried to reach out to stop him, Feng Shi had already thrust the long sword in its eye socket. Feng Shi seized the opportunity and immediately leaped up. Zeros, whose reaction was dull, couldn't stop his massive palm. Beaten to a pulp with a single blow. Seizing this opportunity, Feng Shi's attacks grew even more frenzied. Storm Flash swung from his hand once again. Right after that, another set of slashing strikes combined with basic attacks. After Feng Shi landed on the ground, taking advantage of the weakened state and increased damage, immediately turning and unleashing another round of attacks towards his giant foot. The foot was injured. Zeros' mountain-like body instantly lost support. Immediately fell to the ground with a thud. However, at this moment, the angry Zeros suddenly quieted down. Its giant mouth began to breathe heavily. He then stood up abruptly, letting out a thunderous roar that echoed to the end of the sky. An invisible energy erupted once again. The next second, there was a swoosh sound from Zeros' position. His massive body actually disappeared from the spot. Feng Shi suddenly felt something was wrong. Where did the boss go? Immediately after, Zeros, whose body had shrunk, suddenly appeared from behind Feng Shi. Zeros with significantly increased attack speed and move speed. He raised his hand and threw a punch at Feng Shi. Unable to dodge in time, Feng Shi quickly picked up his long sword to block. Even if Zeros' attack power decreases, this punch still directly hurls Feng Shi out tens of meters, fiercely causing him to collide with the wall of the cave. The smoke cleared, and Feng Shi struggled to stand up. Surprisingly, he survived that terrifying punch. However, his current condition can be described as extremely poor. Only a tiny sliver of HP remains. However, he didn't feel the slightest hint of fear. His eyes glinted with cold light as he prepared to give it his all. Immediately, he activated his gravity release. He suddenly exerted force with his feet. Instead of retreating, he advanced, jumping towards Zeros' head. For the elite boss with only 15% HP left, he will never give up easily. He waved his hand and unleashed another storm flash. Seizing the moment before Zeros can react, he swung another slash behind him. Watching as the time for gravity release grew shorter, Feng Shi suddenly spun in the air. He raised the long sword in his hand again, preparing to deliver the final blow. The next second, the long sword in his hand was thrown out suddenly. In the blink of an eye, the sword pierced through Zuro's body. This sword took away Zuro's last bit of HP with a bang. Zuro's instantly turned into a pile of rubble scattered on the ground. He was originally the strongest sword god in the realm. But he was betrayed and abandoned due to interests. Now that he has been reborn, he is determined to seek revenge against the greedy betrayers, while others are still teaming up to fight low-level monsters. He started with a wealth of experience right from the beginning, continuously challenging and defeating higher-level monsters. Just a moment ago, after Feng Shi took down Zuro's, he began happily searching for treasures in the pile of rubble. The quality of the drops from elite monsters is still very high. He dropped a very nice large shield equipment and a skill book. The skill book is the universal melee skill parry, which requires a melee weapon. It can block one attack from the front. Cooldown time is 30 seconds. Parry this life-saving skill is extremely rare, especially when fighting a boss. Often, a crucial block can save one's life. Feng Shi looked at the skill book and ultimately chose to study it. Even though adding it to his shield could fetch a better price, he wouldn't engage in killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. Feng Shi didn't stop and continued climbing upwards. Along the way, he killed many rock giants and replaced a lot of equipment. He no longer looked shabby. Looking at the mountain peak that was so close, they were almost in tears. He immediately used gravity release. He suddenly leaped towards the mountain peak. He finally climbed to the mountaintop. All that met his eyes was white fog. He could only see a distance of about 20 yards. He immediately became alert. In his memory, the mountaintop had never been covered in such thick fog before. Just at that moment, the system issued an emergency alert sound. The player discovered the lost land and triggered the hidden quest, Past Glory, temporarily cutting off all external contacts for the player. They couldn't leave the area until the quest was completed. Feng Shi couldn't help but think quietly. The situation on the mountaintop was completely different from the report given by the assassin initially. He hadn't heard any information other than the mithril chest back then. Especially the hidden quest, Past Glory, in the Lost Lands. Other than the name, there is no information about the quest content. Not knowing what to do, Feng Shi, who has 10 years of experience in the realm, immediately spotted the key to this hidden quest. Could it be triggered by geographical location? In the realm, there are some very special quests that can only be triggered when you reach certain areas. These quests have no specific content and require players to explore and find out on their own. After completing the quest, even if the next player comes here, the quest will not be triggered again. It can be said to be a very special unique quest that is also very dangerous. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. Feng Shi thought to himself, and then strode forward. Anyway, he couldn't leave. Might as well explore a bit. If worst comes to worst, he'll just respawn back in town. This is a city that has been abandoned for many years. Everywhere are dilapidated buildings. From the size of the city and the grandeur of the buildings, it can be inferred that this place used to be very prosperous. It was even more splendid compared to White River Castle. However, this prosperous city, now there isn't even a shadow of a person. It took quite a bit of time. Feng Shi still hasn't found any quest clues. The realm has just started not long ago. It's the time to pull ahead. He can't waste too much time here. He immediately climbed onto a relatively high rooftop, using the vantage point to broaden his field of vision. Standing on the roof, the cityscape lay before his eyes. He looked around at his surroundings. He did not find anything particularly special. Suddenly, he found himself near a magic tower not far away. Surprisingly, it was not shrouded in thick fog. He no longer hesitated. Before long, he arrived at the front of Magic Tower. This used to be a sacred place for mage professions, the best place to learn magic. Now it is in ruins, with even the magic crystals on the tall tower shattered. Feng Shi had just stepped onto Magic Tower when he immediately heard a voice coming through. "Young adventurer, Welcome to Sky City. A white-bearded old man suddenly appeared. His voice was full of vicissitudes and wisdom, which startled Feng Shi. He thought a monster had appeared. Sky City thought of this famous city, the realm. They were very shocked. Sky City was once famous throughout the realm. There were countless legendary professions in the city, and the demigod-level sword Saint Alruthia was in charge. Even the gods had to fear her. Unfortunately, she fell and disappeared during the Third Divine War, becoming a regret of the realm. Whitebeard continued, I believe you must want to become stronger. I can help you. But are you willing to accept my challenge? Feng Shi immediately agreed. The old man nodded in satisfaction and said solemnly, I will give you 3 choices. Feng Shi impatiently interrupted. No need for introductions. I choose the most difficult hell difficulty. As a reincarnator, he should have the courage to challenge himself. He is confident that he can handle this difficulty. Once he passes, it will play an important role in his future development. The old man immediately laughed when he heard this. Young people are truly full of enthusiasm. I admire you a lot. Just don't regret your choice. At the same time, a quest titled Past Glory popped up in the system, requiring him to face 1,000 monsters of the same level, with only 500 kills needed to pass. With a time limit of 4 hours, failing the quest would result in a penalty of a permanent 10-point decrease in all attributes. The old man then disappeared without a trace. Attributes are the foundation of a profession. If all attributes drop by 10 points, this account will be almost useless. Meanwhile, there were constant noises inside the tower, and numerous dark figures appeared out of thin air. Feng Shi looked at the ghosts emerging from the tall tower. A warrior suddenly felt itchy scalp. Ghost warrior, a common rank 2 monster with 230 HP. Countless ghost warriors wasted no time. They continued to rush towards the magic tower. At the same time, prompts for the quest suddenly appeared. Dealing with this kind of monster is very easy. But when facing a vast ghost-like warrior, even Feng Shi becomes nervous. If you charge straight ahead, you're just looking for death. You'll definitely be surrounded and killed. The unique way is to approach one-on-one. Utilize terrain restrictions and positioning to confront the enemy. Feng Shi has a wealth of battle experience. He quickly jumped down from upstairs with a clever move. Time is pressing. He has already selected the best battlefield to meet the enemy. He then landed steadily on the narrow stairs. This staircase allows at most 2 monsters to pass. It's the best killing spot. Just holding the staircase can pass the test. At the same time, all the ghosts and warriors inside and outside the tower have gone crazy. They all rush into the high tower and recklessly attack Feng Shi. Facing thousands of undead army, a young man alone faces thousands of enemies. Like a sea of ghostly warrior troops, heading straight for the magic tower where he stands. However, Feng Shi has already selected the best battlefield to confront the enemy. The staircase he chose is very narrow, 1 at a time. This allows him to easily deal with 2 ghost warriors. 3 lightning flashes of storm flash past. Ghost warrior within 20 yards. Suddenly lost more than half of HP from this skill. The increased damage of Storm Flash combined with the harvesting of Slash just wiped out 90 ghosts at once. Warrior. The narrow terrain combined with Feng Shi's high attack speed. Monsters of the same level simply cannot withstand his attacks. As long as you don't fight monsters of a higher level, the effects of Storm Flash and Cleaver won't be suppressed. Faced with this ghost warrior with only a little over 200 HP, Storm Flash's powerful AoE damage is displayed to the fullest extent. The damage amplification effect after Storm Flash allows Feng Shi to take down a ghost warrior with just 2 swords. To speed up the kill rate, Feng Shi activates Gravity Release. Attack speed has increased again. There is a damage amplification effect. It can be resolved in less than 3 seconds. Feng Shi can use a powerful AoE skill. Not afraid of swarming tactics. He can easily dodge attacks even in a 1v2 situation. If it were other players, the quest might fail. But for him, it's not a big issue. When there are only 100 monsters left, the monsters that appear under the stage are no longer just ghost warriors. Instead, more agile ghost assassins are appearing. The ghost assassin unexpectedly did not attack from the stairs. Very dishonorable. Rushed to the top of the stairs in several jumps. At the same time, Feng Shi is defending against the attacks of the ghost warrior. And 2 ghost assassins have already launched a surprise attack from behind him. Feng Shi, who has 10 years of battle experience, immediately sensed the movement behind him acutely. He suddenly leaped up and kicked horizontally at the position where the ghostly assassin, named Assassin, pounced towards. In an instant, 2 ghostly assassins appeared, as well as the ghostly warrior who was just grappling. All of them were swept away by him. Feng Shi landed from the air and expertly dodged another ghost warrior's strike by stepping on the nearby handrail. Immediately, he fiercely swung the long sword in his hand. He ruthlessly stabbed the head of the ghost warrior. He killed it in seconds. Just then, suddenly, a ghost assassin leaped out from behind him. While he was off guard, the assassin struck with a knife, depleting 1/4 of his HP. Feng Shi turned around angrily. He lifted his leg and kicked again. Kicked the ghostly assassin that had ambushed him. The ghostly assassin already had low HP. Fell from a high altitude and died instantly on impact. Feng Shi suddenly felt a sharp increase in pressure. He didn't expect that the last 100 monsters would be of different species. Luckily, their HP is not very high. The next moment, the ghost thorns had no intention of giving Feng Shi a chance to catch his breath. Just spawn 5 assassins. Attack him again. Use gravity release immediately. Attack speed and movement speed are greatly increased. He swiftly weaves through the group of monsters, swinging the long sword in his hand frantically. The next moment, Feng Shi swiftly scanned the situation below as he leaped and landed on the roof. Next, he suddenly exerted force with his feet. He dove straight down. As the long sword moved with him, Storm Flash combined with a slashing strike in a follow-up combo. The fragile ghost assassin fell gracefully. Time passes by second. The bustling magic tower regained its tranquility once again. The staircase in front of Feng Shi is already covered with countless remnants of ghost assassins. At this moment, he can't even resist holding the long sword in his hand. Began to tremble slightly. He took deep breaths to calm himself down. 500 kills have already been completed. Just then, the old man appeared again. He looked at Feng Shi, the young man, with a smile. A golden treasure chest suddenly appeared out of thin air. The system prompt also sounded at the same time. Complete the quest, pass glory, and receive the reward. The exquisite gold chest obtained the title 1 vs. 1000. When using this title, all friendly teammates within a radius of 30 yards will receive a 10% boost to all attributes. Additionally, the player will personally gain an additional effect of +5 power and stamina. Immediately after, the old man disappeared into thin air, leaving behind only the words, "The reward has been given to you. You may leave now." Feng Shi suddenly felt a void under his feet. He immediately fell downward, feeling a sense of panic due to this sudden change. Shortly after, Feng Shi only felt a blur before his eyes. When he opened them again, he had returned to the square of Maple Leaf Town and was rapidly falling from the sky. Caught off guard, he suddenly fell flat on his face, which attracted the attention of passers-by, who looked over one after another. Feng Shi quickly turned into an empty alley. The exquisite gold chest that he had worked so hard to obtain must not be taken away by others. Opening the exquisite gold chest would definitely cause a stir. In the deserted alley, Feng Shi quietly observed for a while. He finally relaxed after making sure that no one was following him. Then he took out the exquisite gold chest and looked at the shiny big treasure chest. Feng Shi was instantly excited in his heart. In the previous life, they obtained a secret silver-level treasure chest, which contained potion recipes and forging diagrams. He wondered what good things would be inside this time. He had been playing in the realm for 10 years. He had never encountered more than 20 exquisite gold chests. He couldn't wait to choose to open it. Suddenly, a golden light emanated from the chest. If it were nighttime, it would definitely be a dazzling beacon, attracting everyone's attention. Feng Shi was prepared in advance, but was still taken aback by this dazzling golden light. Feng Shi, who had just regained consciousness, looked at the long sword that had just been drawn out, feeling somewhat surprised. Abyss Dweller magic artifact. Requires the occupation swordman. Do you want to bind this equipment? He is very familiar with magic artifacts. Magic artifacts, unlike normal items, do not have quality levels. They are rarer than epic equipment and possess unmatched power. However, they come with corresponding side effects, such as backlash. A slight mistake can render the character worthless. They are truly a double-edged sword. The exquisite gold chest yields a magic artifact that is only 35 in the entire server. Although Abyss Dweller ranks last, its terrifying reputation even makes the revived Feng Shi hesitate to bind with it rashly. He was considering it afterwards, but chose not to bind. The pressure is intense, as he needs to earn 16,000 credits in the first 10 days of the game. If something goes wrong, all previous efforts will be in vain. Additionally, there are 2 ancient books, the Book of Forging and the Potion Codex, both invaluable treasures. With these 2 books, one can become a master blacksmith and a master alchemist. He remembers there is a hidden quest in Shadow Moon Valley, where not only can you learn blacksmithing for free, but also receive a blacksmithing talent as a reward. With the blacksmithing talent and the Book of Forging, one can definitely become an advanced blacksmith apprentice quickly. Making bronze equipment is profitable. However, Shadow Moon Valley is a level 4 monster area. Plus, that quest is not easy to complete. It takes a lot of time and requires preparing some items in advance to deal with it. The chest also yielded a piece of mithril grade armor, Sky Armor Mithril Grade. This plate equipment requires power to reach 20 points, and is a level 5 item. Its stats include defense plus 25, power plus 6, stamina plus 3, and agility plus 3. Additional attribute: weakening reduces physical damage taken by 15% when equipped. Swordsmen also wear plate armor. Putting on this equipment at level 5, one could easily become a shield warrior. He wandered around the trading area for a while. Then he randomly found a vacant spot and intended to get rid of the unused equipment. Before long, after setting the prices, he put down the herbs he had picked earlier and the equipment, and began to set up a stall to sell his goods. Feng Shi started calling out spontaneously, "Don't miss out as you pass by! High-quality materials! Extremely rare top-notch equipment! Those who want to buy, please come over and take a look." There are many players setting up stalls in the trading area. However, most of them are selling materials. Currently, there are basically no players selling equipment. When Feng Shi shouted, he immediately became the center of attention. The numerous onlookers were all amazed. The realm has been open for less than 10 hours, and yet he was able to obtain such high-level equipment. What's even more incredible is that he actually put it up for sale. Major guides and studios all equip themselves with the equipment they obtain to gain as much advantage as possible. It's impossible for them to put it up for sale. Currently, players are mostly at level 1, so the thought of a level 5 equipment is deemed impossible, not to mention a level 5 bronze shield. However, the price of 21 silver is too high for the average player to afford. He doesn't expect regular players to purchase it. What he wants is the publicity effect. Just at this moment, a communication from Kuriko came in. He is very anxious at this moment. "Feng, you finally answered. I wasted so much time. Still at level 0 now. What should I do?" Feng Shi said apologetically. "I just completed a strange quest and couldn't contact you. Come to the trading area. I will upgrade you after I finish selling the goods." Just then, a group of players rushed over. Leading them was a shield warrior named Flame Tiger, who impatiently shouted, "Move aside, move aside! Since Shadow is here, everything is under our control. The rest of you can leave." Flame Tiger looked at the bronze-grade shield, and then glanced at Feng Shi before asking, "Are all these your goods?" Feng Shi nodded without saying more. He instinctively felt disgust towards Shadow's people. He knows the shield warrior. His name is Flame Tiger, the leader of Maple Leaf Town. In the previous life, he couldn't rise quickly. He was repeatedly used as cannon fodder. 3 of his success were thanks to Flame Tiger's efforts. Didn't expect to meet him so soon. Flame Tiger noticed that Feng Shi did not have a guild emblem on him. He appeared to be just a lucky ordinary player. He arrogantly said, "I'll take all of these things. The price is 1 silver coin." Feng Shi also didn't get angry and just smiled lightly. "I'm not bargaining. Please don't act like a big shot and interfere with my business." Flame Tiger's face immediately turned livid at the words. He glared at Feng Shi and sternly said, "Are you sure you want to go against our shadow? I'll give you one more chance. Think carefully before you speak." The other 5 members of Shadow immediately drew their weapons and surrounded him. However, Feng Shi, who was surrounded, remained calm. He simply said, "Dumbass." He secretly complained in his heart. How dare he threaten in Maple Leaf Town? Doesn't he know that you cannot take action in the small town? Flame Tiger immediately became very angry. He suddenly drew out the huge axe and was about to chop towards Feng Shi. He wished he could kill Feng Shi right now. A voice interrupted him. "It's interesting. So many top-quality equipments. How can we, the Assassin Alliance, be missing out?" More than 10 people arrived at this time. Each person was wearing the emblem of the Assassin Alliance. The one who spoke just now was Heartstabber, while Flame Tiger and others were stunned on the spot. Upon seeing that the stall owner was Feng Shi, Heartstabber immediately warmly greeted him. "Master, we are really destined to meet." He laughed heartily and said, "It's the 24 silver. I'll take it all. Let's be friends. If you have any good equipment in the future, make sure to consider our Assassin Alliance." Feng Shi was very clear that this was a gesture of goodwill from Heartstabber towards him. It's also good to collaborate with such a large guild. He said that since you are so generous, he won't take the 50 copper either. Let's stay in touch in the future. Just at this moment, Kuriko squeezed into the crowded stall and shouted, "Feng, you have kept me searching for a long time." After trading 24 pieces of silver, Feng Shi, holding a heavy money pouch, lightly said, "My friend has arrived. Goodbye." He didn't say anything else. Immediately turned around, waved, and walked straight towards Kuriko. Heartstabber couldn't help but sigh. The 24 silver was hard-earned savings from guiding, and he still wanted to chat with Feng Shi a bit more. Meanwhile, the level 0 Kuriko curiously asked, "What should we do now?" Feng Shi smiled and replied, "Let's go grind mobs in Shadow Moon Valley." Kuriko suddenly felt a bit uneasy. Shadow Moon Valley is a zone with level 4 monsters. He couldn't help but ask, "Why don't we go fight some lower-level monsters instead?" Concerns regarding Kuriko. Feng Shi remains indifferent. "Just relax and follow me." At the same time, Little Gaggas, the shadow guide, asked, "Big brother Flame Tiger, are you just going to let him leave unharmed like this?" Flame Tiger's face flushed red, his eyes almost bursting with anger. Through gritted teeth, he said, "Shadow Wolf, you keep a close eye on that kid. He must understand what consequences await those who oppose us, the Shadows." Feng Shi headed straight for Shadow Moon Valley with Kuriko. The realm's cross-level challenges are extremely difficult, usually surpassing a level difference of 1. Kuriko seems to have doubts about this leveling journey. In order to dispel his concerns, Feng Shi quickly reassured him. "My friend is an expert in the closed beta testing. If we weren't such good friends, he wouldn't have told me this secret. Get ready to level up like a rocket. You see, I'm already level 2. Since the server opened until now, There aren't many who have reached this level. It's all thanks to the insider information from the closed beta testing experts that I leveled up so quickly. Kuriko knows that Feng Shi's skills are pretty good, but definitely not that powerful. After seeing Feng Shi's level, his worries disappeared instantly. Just as the two of them were on the road, a figure suddenly appeared nearby. Shadow Wolf was hiding in the dark, secretly surprised. He actually dared to go to the 4th level area. This swordsman is indeed strange. He then gave a cold smirk. But he encountered this master here. You can only blame your bad luck. When all the players were still in the Copper Age, our protagonist Feng Shi just finished selling goods. He has made a profit of 24 silver. After purchasing a series of prepared props, he took Kuriko to Shadow Moon Valley to start grinding monsters. Shortly after, Kuriko suddenly spoke up and said, "Feng, look, there's a blue-named elite monster over there." Feng glanced in the direction pointed out by Kuriko. Sure enough, there was a white fox on the open ground. The cunning snow fox still held a small white rabbit in its mouth. Cunning snow fox rare elite level 2 HP 450. Feng Shi couldn't help but smile slightly. Your luck is really extraordinary. The drops from rare elites are very bountiful. He couldn't wait and quietly approached. Ignoring Kuriko's dissuasion, he whispered instructions. You hide in the back and use your skills. Watch how I kill it. Rare elite is a special type of elite with the same strength as a normal elite. However, the rewards after killing it are higher. At this moment, Feng Shi has quickly circled around to the back of Snow Fox. Taking advantage of its unpreparedness, he launched a sudden attack. As the slash was initiated, a sword aura hit Snow Fox, causing 32 points of damage. While Snow Fox's speed and reaction are both fast, in the moment of being injured, she quickly pulled away from each other. Feng Shi dodged and attacked through Snow Fox. He made judgments quickly. His movements are very agile. Defense is not low either. However, he has the title 1 versus 1000, which increases all attributes by 10%. With an additional 5 points in power and 5 points in stamina, his attributes can completely despise a level 5 swordsman, and he can definitely fight against a level 2 elite. The racing speed of the Snow Fox is very fast. It suddenly leaped up and directly bit Feng Shi's neck. Trigger the skill critical hit. However, Feng Shi's speed is not slow either. Not the slightest bit inferior to Snow Fox. At the moment when Snow Fox rushed over, the novice sword was already blocking Snow Fox's mouth. With a loud bang, Feng Shi couldn't resist Snow Fox's power and was knocked back a few steps. 49 points of damage appeared above his head, while Snow Fox only took 5 points of damage. The difference between the two is clear at a glance. Feng Shi is clearly weaker than Snow Fox in power confrontation. Kuriko was immediately flustered at the sight. He had encountered attacks from ordinary monsters before. He didn't expect that the gap with elite monsters would be so big. Feng Shi suddenly shouted out loudly, "Kuriko, act quickly! Don't just stand there!" Kuriko didn't dare to delay either. At worst, they would die together. Anyway, they're also at level 0. Then, he quickly recited the spell. Just saw him wave the wand in his hand. A shadow arrow quickly shot out. Focus on attacking Snow Fox of Feng Shi. Caught off guard, he was immediately hit. Kuriko exploded on the spot upon seeing the damage. He had been following a full intelligence build focused on magic attack power. However, to his surprise, he only dealt 5 points of damage. The elite monster's defense far exceeded his expectations. Feng Shi attacked the Snow Fox while comforting it. "Don't stop attacking. I'll try to restrain it. It won't pose a threat to you." The Snow Fox, tangled in a fight with Feng Shi, was immediately hit by a dense barrage of shadow arrows. It instantly lost over 20 HP. Facing the Snow Fox, Feng Shi faced even greater pressure. The Snow Fox has a high agility. Being bitten accidentally causes damage of over 50. Feng Shi knew that continuing like this would end up in a wipeout sooner or later. He immediately picked up his leg and kicked Snow Fox away, quickly distancing himself. Shadow Wolf, who was hiding in the dark watching, immediately showed a contemptuous expression on his face. These two little trash probably won't even have a chance to face me. They will just be killed by that boss. After a long struggle, Feng Shi only has 31 points of HP left, and Snow Fox still has 244 points. It's completely disproportionate. Snow Fox has no intention of giving Feng Shi a chance to catch their breath. Launching another deadly attack, they pounce at him. Feng Shi can only awkwardly raise his sword to block. At this moment, the new sword with originally low durability is being torn apart by the fox's bite. Its durability keeps decreasing, and is about to be damaged with a significant decrease in durability. Kuriko immediately felt a sense of impending danger. Is Feng's first blood going to be lost here? At the same time, Feng Shi remained calm. With a quick pull of the hand, Snow Fox exposed its vulnerable belly. Feng Shi then raised his leg and delivered a fierce kick towards it. The next second, after letting out a miserable cry from being hit in its weak spot, Snow Fox was kicked away by Feng Shi. He thought to himself at this moment, "This is not good. Continue to drag it out. It's definitely going to be wiped out by the group." After landing, the Snow Fox didn't pause in the slightest. Rushed towards Feng Shi once again. And he suddenly leaped up. Took out a bottle of black iron ale from the backpack. Then he quickly opened the bottle in midair. Gulped down a few mouthfuls with a rumbling sound. At this moment, Feng Shi saw that the Snow Fox's level display was 0, while he was at level 2. Instantly, there was a level suppression. However, his vision became somewhat blurry. A little tipsy. Although it can increase damage, but the body will become very difficult to control. He dared not waste time. Immediately activated the gravity release and rushed towards the Snow Fox. Feng Shi arrived at the Snow Fox's side in the blink of an eye. He raised his hand and swung a slashing strike at it. He did not dare to slacken in the slightest. The new sword in his hand gripped tighter. Whoosh! 3 lightning flashes quickly passed by Snow Fox's waist. Snow Fox let out a scream. It instantly knocked off 1/4 of its HP. Kuriko's eyes were about to pop out from staring. "Feng, you are too awesome. What did you just drink?" At this moment, Feng Shi's performance is like he's using cheats. The fierce Snow Fox doesn't even have a chance to resist. And after this combo, Snow Fox still hasn't been taken down. He quickly seizes the opportunity to deliver the final blow. Feng Shi quickly arrived in front of Snow Fox. He suddenly leaped up, preparing to gather strength to unleash a skill. However, just at this moment, a vague sound of footsteps suddenly came from outside the battlefield. Feng Shi in the air suddenly felt a chill on his neck. He immediately turned around to look towards the source, only to see a sharp dagger shimmering with a cold light. It stabbed towards his neck. Feng Shi has many years of battle experience. He instinctively leaned back. Then a bright snow-white sword slashed past. He narrowly avoided this strike with a shock. Feng Shi immediately gave up on Snow Fox and distanced himself from the slowly emerging figure. The Shadow Wolf, who revealed his figure at this moment, was very surprised. He had hidden his breath very well. He didn't even make a sound. His stealth attack was still avoided. There is a giant-sized elite monster attacking frantically ahead. Behind, the Shadow Guide's assassin is waiting for an opportunity to sneak attack. How will our main character Feng Shi respond? Just now, Feng Shi stared at the revealed assassin, immediately bursting with anger. You shadows are really a bunch of scoundrels. However, at this moment, the forgotten Snow Fox suddenly started trembling uncontrollably. Immediately after, its thin and weak fox claws suddenly emitted a burst of light. It unexpectedly grew larger. Then it suddenly let out a roar. Its snow-white body became huge. Its HP, which had almost reached the bottom, suddenly recovered a lot. At the same time, the attributes of the enlarged snow fox increased by 20%. The snow fox only knew it had to kill Feng Shi and pounced towards Feng Shi's position again. At the same time, Kuriko quickly shouted a reminder. That assassin is preparing to ambush you again. While Snow Fox kept attacking Feng Shi non-stop, Shadow Wolf also moved swiftly. He is preparing to take out Feng Shi in the moment when Feng Shi dodges. Feng Shi is being ambushed by Snow Fox and Shadow Wolf. At this point, Feng Shi only has 31 HP left. The situation is extremely critical. Shadow Wolf is now looking smug. He thought Feng Shi couldn't possibly be the one in his ambush. Survived the attack. He watched the huge body of the Snow Fox. And the fierce fox mouth was close at hand. Feng Shi, however, remained completely calm. He suddenly leaped up. He kicked directly towards the fierce giant mouth, kicking it away. The Snow Fox, without a foothold, was easily kicked towards Shadow Wolf. It directly opened its huge mouth, ready to take down the Shadow Wolf in front of it. Feng Shi coldly snorted when he saw this. Everything is under control. Everything is too fast. Feng Shi's Shadow Wolf didn't react at all to the direct charge. He was already in a panic at this point. Then came the huge fox mouth that had changed direction. Opening and closing with each bite, it bit him hard. Then, as if spitting out garbage, it forcefully sprayed it on the ground. Instantly, a large pit appeared on the ground. The attack struck down. Shadow Wolf's HP instantly dropped to 0. He felt full of unwillingness in his heart. He had never imagined that players could transfer hate like this. Kuriko, who was watching from a distance, was also left dumbfounded. Even forgot to attack Snow Fox. Feng Shi quickly shouted, "Snow Fox is low on health, quickly attack it." Without Shadow Wolf's interference, Feng Shi once again launched an attack towards the Snow Fox. He quickly used Storm Flash and regular attacks to generate aggro, while Kuriko kept running around the perimeter without stopping, madly firing off shadow arrows. The heavily wounded Snow Fox didn't last long. Not long after, it let out a mournful cry before falling to the ground and not getting up. At the same time, a system prompt popped up. Kill Rare Elite Cunning Snow Fox to receive 10 XP. The Rare Elite dropped a weapon. It's a common Blackwood staff, bronze grade, item level 1, with magic attack power +8, intelligence +3, spirit +1, and MP +30. Feng Shi directly gave the Blackwood staff to Kuriko. This equipment provides a significant boost for magic-based professions. Not only does it have high attack power, but it also adds 3 intelligence. If worn by a magic-based profession, the damage can be increased by 2 levels. Kuriko did not accept the equipment. He looked hesitant. After all, it was Feng Shi who single-handedly defeated the Snow Fox. Kuriko didn't really contribute much. Yet he received the best equipment, which is an extremely precious bronze equipment that only a few players have at this stage. Feng Shi understood Kuriko's thoughts. He said seriously, "What's wrong with you? Aren't we good brothers? Don't be polite with me. Besides, as a sorcerer, once you reach level 1, you can fully unleash the power of the staff. This way, we can level up much faster." Kuriko thought about it and didn't refuse. Getting stronger is the only way to help Feng Shi. That way, I won't hold others back. Feng Shi smiled satisfactorily. At the same time, inside Maple Leaf Town, Flame Tiger cursed harshly. "Shadow Wolf, what are you doing? You were actually sent back to town by a level 2 swordman." Shadow Wolf's face is as dark as water. Even though he wanted to explain something, he didn't know how to say it. Should he explain how he was played by Feng Shi? He couldn't say it. Otherwise, he would definitely be kicked out of the studio. Shadow Wolf was angry and distorted the facts, leading people astray. "I accidentally stumbled upon a rare elite. But when I was fighting the elite monster, I was spotted by that little guy. He also brought along a sorcerer. I was caught in a pincer attack and then ambushed by them. That's how I got taken out. That kid must have taken down the rare elite and scored some good gear. They are heading toward Shadow Moon Valley. We can still catch up with them now. Maybe we can retrieve the gear. Flame Tiger's eyes lit up instantly. He no longer blamed Shadow Wolf and became greatly interested in the loot from the rare elite. Before long, Flame Tiger gathered the residents of Maple Leaf Town. All Shadow's studio members. He must take down Feng Shi this time and get the equipment. He angrily shouted, "Let's go! We must chase after them immediately. How dare they steal my equipment? I will make them regret playing the realm." Feng Shi and Kuriko quickly arrived at Shadow Moon Valley. They were both standing quietly inside the blacksmith's shop, watching the middle-aged shirtless uncle holding a hammer, continuously striking the crimson ore in his hand. "Time is passing bit by bit," Kuriko quietly asked. "Feng has been waiting for a long time. Should we continue?" Feng Shi said impatiently. "We have to wait. He won't give up on the quest." After waiting for another more than 10 minutes, the middle-aged blacksmith suddenly asked, "You have been watching for so long. Are you very interested in forging?" Feng Shi immediately replied excitedly, "I have been very interested in forging since I was young." The system prompt suddenly popped up. Hidden quest path of forging requires 100 pieces of meteorite, or as the quest item, which can be obtained in the Crimson Star Mine. The Crimson Star Mine is the nest of level 4 gnolls. They love ores the most and mine in the cave every day. Gnolls are naturally strong and agile. At the entrance of the mine, there are wandering gnolls. Attacking one will attract a group of them. Feng Shi suddenly took out a smoke bomb and quietly approached. The smoke bomb lasts for an hour. Reduce the visibility of monsters within a range of 100 yards by 10 yards. Feng Shi threw a smoke bomb in front of the entrance. There were over 10 level 4 gnolls there. The smoke bomb can reduce the monster's vision by 10 yards. It's not very useful against other monsters, but it's great against gnolls. Feng Shi pointed at the gnoll in the smoke and said, "Don't be afraid to use skills to attack at will." Kuriko was suddenly scared and broke out in a cold sweat. However, he believed that Feng Shi was only level 0. If he died, he died. He immediately stopped hesitating. He quickly chanted the spell in his mouth. A shadow arrow shot out swiftly. Then a loud roar rang out. The shadow ship pierced directly through, only impacting the front gnoll. The gnoll that was hit immediately took 21 points of damage. Attacked out of nowhere, the gnoll is very angry. The gnoll looks around, its dog-like eyes suddenly widening like a searchlight. This action makes the other gnolls also become slightly alert. Inexperienced Kuriko instantly panicked. His slim and weak body could not withstand a blow from the gnoll. Feng Shi, on the other hand, confidently smiled and said, "Don't be afraid. As long as we stay 30 yards away, they won't attack us. Gnolls have short vision, only able to detect enemies within 35 yards. Smoke bombs can reduce a monster's vision by 10 yards, which happens to be the maximum range for spellcasting professions to attack." The gnoll that was hit indeed looked around. Didn't find any enemies. He was inexplicably attacked. Still couldn't find the enemy. This made him extremely angry. He kept erupting in roars. In a short while, he returned to his original state. And the other gnolls also ignored him. This neurotic partner continued to wander. Encouraged by Feng Shi, Kuriko is no longer timid. His courage has grown. He keeps chanting spells and continuously shoots shadow arrows. With only 420 HP, the gnoll couldn't withstand Kuriko's onslaught. Over 20 shadow arrows flew towards it, resulting in its immediate demise. And the gnoll by his side. He didn't express any opinion on this matter, remaining completely unfazed. When the first gnoll fell, Kuriko immediately became excited. Only now did he understand why Feng Shi was so confident in hunting monsters here. It's worth spending a few hours on the road. This is killing monsters above level 4. Although in a 2-person team, XP is divided up somewhat, but the XP is still extremely rich. you will gain a 5% experience boost. In other words, killing 20 gnolls will level you up. And it's completely safe, without any harm. And the monsters keep coming. The leveling speed is simply terrifying. It will be very efficient to level up like this until level 6. In no time. In front of the mine, about 10 gnolls were cleared by Kuriko. He didn't waste any time. He immediately chugged the magic potion given to him by Feng Shi. Strive to quickly regenerate mana and clear the next wave of monsters. And this group of gnolls dropped 12 copper, a level 3 common cloth armor, and a few pieces of meteorite ore, quite lucky. According to Feng Shi, the probability of gnolls dropping meteorite ore is not high, only 1 out of 10 monsters. It takes killing about 1,000 gnolls to drop 100 pieces. Now, more than 20 gnolls can drop 5 pieces of meteorite ore in normal items. It has to be said that Kuriko's luck is really good. After collecting all the drops, Feng Shi didn't waste time and started moving again. He took advantage of the 16-point agility to continue pulling monsters. He is not afraid at all when facing groups of gnolls. This time he pulled more than 30 gnolls at once. Feng Shi is faster than the gnolls. While running, she maintains a distance of over 20 yards, but less than 25 yards. She continued to lead all the gnolls into the smoke bombs. Only after that did she suddenly accelerate, breaking away from the 25-yard distance, making the gnolls lose their target and stand there blankly. Kuriko, 30 yards away, saw the gnolls entering the range of the smoke bombs. He immediately took the opportunity to continuously release shadow arrows to attack. More than 30 gnolls were cleared in less than 10 minutes. They dropped 21 copper and 6 pieces of meteorite ore, granting enough XP for Feng Shi to level up to level 3. Kuriko also reached level 2. In addition, Kuriko also unexpectedly discovered a bronze-grade equipment while sweeping the spoils of war. Just then, a hurried footstep suddenly sounded. Immediately after, a blurry figure suddenly appeared behind Kuriko. The figure wielded a dagger and angrily shouted, "Attack together! Take out this scum first, then deal with Dark Blade together!" Feng Shi, whose senses are sharp, immediately let out a loud roar. Kuriko, quickly move away. However, just at this moment, 3 figures suddenly appeared. Several blade rays brought up by assassination skills swiftly cut across Kuriko's body. The 3 assassins attacked simultaneously, even though Kuriko was wearing several pieces of normal cloth armor. For him, who was unable to react in time, it still caused considerable damage. He immediately lost nearly 4/5 of his HP. However, he also saw the appearance of the assailants clearly. It turned out that the assailant was Shadow Wolf, who Feng Shi had escorted home, and the others were also members of the Shadow Guide. Kuriko realized that he was doomed this time. His speed simply couldn't match that of the assassin. However, before he died, he also wanted to resist a little. He rapidly chanted an incantation in his mouth. A shadow arrow shot towards Shadow Wolf at point-blank range. And Shadow Wolf sneered. Although he couldn't avoid it, his HP was still very high. How powerful could an incompetent sorcerer's attack be? Could it really take him out in one hit? With a loud blast, the shadow arrow hit Shadow Wolf, causing 185 points of damage to emerge from his head. In an instant, it left him critically wounded. Kuriko was stunned to see such damage. His eyeballs nearly popped out. He didn't expect the 3rd-level Shadow's sword to be so powerful. The other 2 assassins were also shocked. This damn sorcerer isn't a sorcerer at all, but a walking cannon. As a veteran gamer, Shadow Wolf quickly realized this. Brothers, focus fire on him. His staff must be an epic equipment. He thinks that Kuriko can deal such high damage. Definitely must have a mystic iron grade weapon. Otherwise, it would be impossible to defeat him in 1 second. The enthusiasm of the 3 assassins instantly peaked. They couldn't wait to rush towards Kuriko, not even equipped with ordinary weapons, let alone mystic iron weapons. If they could unleash mystic iron weapons, it would be a great advantage. Kuriko is passionately grinding monsters. He was brutally ambushed by 3 assassins. Following the principle of, even if you can't win, you have to bring someone along to take the hit. The level 3 shadow arrow he casually shot out directly brought the leading assassin down to low health. The 3 of them were not surprised but delighted. They couldn't wait to explode the equipment on his body. Watching the 3 people swiftly approaching, Kuriko immediately panicked. After all, his gaming level was not very strong. Just as he was about to meet his end, 3 sword lights flickered. Stormflash suddenly appeared. Stormflash resisted the attacks of the 3 individuals, directly hitting the still floating assassins. A large amount of damage emerges from their heads. HP is all reduced to 0. Shadow Wolf's face is full of disbelief. Instantly turned into a burst of starlight and dissipated. Low defense coupled with level suppression. The effect of level 2 Storm Flash is extremely terrifying. Kuriko stared blankly at the figure in front of him. Everything in front of him happened too quickly. Feng Shi suddenly appeared and killed 3 people in seconds. He couldn't react at all. Kuriko feels that this kind of agility and reaction capability is simply not human. He is once again shocked by Feng Shi's strength. Just then, several players came over. The leader, Flame Tiger, gritted his teeth and angrily cursed. Shadow Wolf is such a dumbass. 3 against 1 and still got counter-killed. Everyone charge at me. I want that little trash to know the consequences of offending the Shadow Guide. Just at this moment,